Hi, my name is James Kemp, and this is part 4 of my Xbox 360 video game collection. If you haven't watched the introduction, you should go ahead and do that. Otherwise, what we've done is I've got 16 physical Xbox 360 games that I still own. This doesn't include downloadable games. And I've gone through 10 of them in the first 3 parts, and now I'm going to try to go through the last 6 games that I have in this part here. So, I think we've seen me go from third-person shooters to RPGs, and then kind of stick with the RPGs. So, it's kind of not that surprising that, and this is a game I pre-ordered, so I'll give you an idea of what time frame we're talking about now. Mass Effect 2, which kind of blends the RPGs plus shooters. In part 2, I guess, I talked about the first Mass Effect, and I hinted at the fact that this did not live up to my expectations, and that is absolutely correct. Mass Effect 2 is one that I didn't finish. I pre-ordered it, so you could tell I'm very excited about the game, but I just couldn't finish it. I got to a point where I felt like I was getting really scrunched down on what I could do, and it was just too much of a shooter aspect to it. There's ammo instead of like energy that would automatically regenerate, which made me looking for ammo stuff, even though I might not necessarily need it. The powers, I think, seemed a little bit less than what I was expecting. I mean, it did really good. This is one that they ported over for the PlayStation 3 just recently, I believe. But, you know, it just couldn't get me. And I'm sorry to say that, because I think that there's actually better characters in Mass Effect 2 than there were in the original Mass Effect. You still got Joker, you still got a couple other characters. I don't want to spoil anything that come back from the first Mass Effect. I don't know why I quoted back. But anyways, a couple that come back. You've got a couple new characters. Like I think Jack's got a good dynamic. I'm not sure about Miranda or the mysterious man. Or whatever he's specifically called. I kept thinking of the voice actor when I heard him talk. So, yeah, Mass Effect 2. I don't know if I'm going to pick up Mass Effect 3 or not, because I'm honestly afraid, and I think some of the media's mentioned this, but I'm really afraid it's going to be like just a Halo-ish clone. They're going to really, really slim back the RPG elements. And just make it a straight-up shooter. And RPG elements here is talking both about the degree of customization that you can get with these kind of games, as well as the storyline. Yeah, so Mass Effect 2 played, I don't know however many hours of it, and I got Jack. I think I've got every party member. There's some free DLC, which is really nice perk, which I heard about, but they honestly just didn't even put this in to grab it. So, Mass Effect 2, what I would say is a disappointment based on Mass Effect. This game, I'll probably go back and finish. I won't really feel any strong desire to start a new game. I'll probably just start off where I left off. Yeah, so that's kind of sad, actually. Here's one that I picked up and haven't started yet, but it was one that I wanted to make sure I got. I think the price was, maybe I paid that much. But it was a game I wanted to make sure I got just because I heard about it. The second one was coming out, so there was a little bit of buzz about that. But I'm kind of afraid to start it because I have an idea of what kind of investment it's going to take if I wanted to get a good score, if you will, on the game. And that is Deadrising, the original one. So yeah, I can't really say much about it since I haven't played it. I just watched some videos. I think the idea is pretty good. Generally, I'm not sure I'm a fan of the games where you have to work within a certain time frame. You have to do certain things at a certain time. And I guess that's because I've played too many RPGs the last 3 generations that, oh, we better hurry and do this, and you could grind for hours and hours and hours and go back to cities, and there's no rush. So I guess maybe I've gotten a little spoiled for what time limits actually mean. One save, too, that you continually overwrite, that's a little weird. I'm not sure why they do that. Like, I think the newest Dragon Quest that was released for the DS, it's got the same basic thing where you've either got one or you've got a limited number of saves, and because of the way games are saved nowadays, where it's not on the actual cartridge, I don't understand why the game designers stick with those kind of archaic things. Like Drakengard was another example where before I had my copy, I watched somebody play it, and he ended up losing a good deal of his progress because somebody else wanted to start playing it from the beginning, didn't realize, and overwrote his save, and there's just the one save. And that sucked because you'd unlock some weapons, so... yeah, Deadrising. I don't know if I'm going to pick up the second one. I haven't. I might when it gets cheap. But again, I should probably play the first one, although they say that you don't necessarily need to play the first one, that the second one is better in that regard, and not just graphically. So, that's number 12. Number 13, Tales of Vesperia. It's a Tales game, so that pretty much gives you all you need to know about the combat. This is one, actually, this is the last 360 game I played. I put it in however long ago, and I started playing it again. I bought this new off of Amazon from another seller. So, I mean, the Tales games are a little weird because you know exactly what you're getting into for combat. You have a pretty good idea of what you're getting in for story, and the length of these games can be a little bit not grueling, but a little elongates. And this is one where it's got a lot of stuff for the achievements. When I popped it in again, I didn't really care about achievements. I just kind of wanted to finish the game, get the story through. But I don't think I'm anywhere near far enough to do that. Generally, I don't have very many Tales games. I'm trying to find... Well, I guess I do, because one of my GameCube games is a Tales game. I've got some PS2 Tales games. In that regard, I guess the whole Tales series kind of appeals to me because they stick with the same system. So if you bought one, you kind of have an idea of what you're going to get, and I think that's a little bit easier for the fans. Nothing really drastic. You either like it or you don't, and you're either going to buy another one or you're not. This guy, is very similar to that. One could argue Shadow Hearts is like that. Probably Gears, all the first-person shooters, they kind of stick with a formula that works, versus a series like Final Fantasy, where they switch things up all the time, and it makes people very divided about whether or not they enjoy a game. Which I think some experimentation is good, but I don't know that you necessarily do that with a different, or with your series that is built a certain way. But then again, if they didn't do that, then the current Final Fantasy games would be a lot like the first couple Final Fantasy games. So you would have had something like Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy XII. So I don't know. I don't know what the right way is for that, if there is a right way. Next game here is one that I picked up recently, but it's short enough that I just actually went through it with all the characters, except for maybe one unlockable character. And that is 99 Nights, the original one. And I think the second one was coming out at the time. It's got a lot of GameStop up here, and then this is a pre-played or Mega Media Exchange, which Mega Media Exchange is a great franchise. I don't want to go into it too much, but because that's not what the feature is, but great franchise. So this is hack and slash, basically. You versus multiple enemies, Drakengard-ish, samurai warriors, etc. There's 7 different characters that you can fight as, each with their own different fighting styles, which is nice. They also have varying lengths to their stories, so some of the later ones are just a handful of missions, but they've all got the stories that kind of merge into one, but then the endings are different depending on who you play as. And this is actually a really enjoyable game. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, because I heard, reviews were it's monotonous, which is why I ended up picking it up for $9, instead of at something higher end, like this was originally $15. Yeah, it's good. Animation's good on this. This is one where there's a secret ending, I guess you could say, after you finish it, or you have to get up to certain levels or something, and I will probably do that for this, because it's a game that you can kind of just pick up, and if you've got half an hour, 45 minutes to do one of the battles, you can just do it. You can also just power through level, because levels are so high, because you can keep going back and increasing the levels of your characters. So yeah, 99 Nights. Much better than I thought it was going to be. And now we've got 2 games that I bought on the same day, and I haven't played just because there hasn't been enough time since I got them, and I've been kind of sticking with Grandia. The first one is Bayonetta, which I picked up cheap, which I knew I was going to do when it came out. The Devil May Cry series, I have Devil May Cry 3, the Ultimate Edition, where you can play as the other character, the guy in blue, Virgil, maybe. Never played any of the other Devil May Cries, the 1, 2, or 4. That came out on this current generation of systems. But the battle system kind of appeals to me. Bayonetta, I heard, obviously she's a very sexual character, so she's bouncing all around or what have you, and Sarah Palin look and all that stuff. But I heard that despite that, and the feeling you might get of, it's just a fanboy kind of video game, I actually heard that it was a very good game to play. That the battle mechanics were pretty tight, spot on. So this is probably actually going to be the next game that I play, because supposedly it's also very short, which is good. But this will probably be the next game I play after I finish Grandia, or if I just need a break, I'm going to pop this in and I'm going to go from start to finish on this game before I move on to anything else. It's got the Devil May Cry aspect to it, where the different weapons, 2 sets of weapons you can equip. So yeah, and the different finishing moves. I forget what they're called. Not as much as a button masher as you would think. Supposedly, if you just button mash, you're gonna get your butt kicked. And I think I had also heard that normal is basically hard. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna play it on. I'm thinking normal, but we'll see. Sega too has got their name associated with this, which kind of surprising. I don't normally think of Sega as being all that great games now, just because I think of them as Sonic. But yeah, obviously I think I've spoken more about this game than I have about some of the other ones, so I think you can hopefully tell that I'm excited about this, and I'm hoping that it's going to live up to my expectations of being an enjoyable what would you call this? I guess action game. So yeah. And finally, we've got another game that I think I'm going to talk about quite a bit, which is Bioshock 2. Bought this same time as Bayonetta. I had traded in some games. And they actually had this for the PlayStation 3 as well, but it had a little rating pending instead, so I didn't know if it was an actual PS3 game. This one features multiplayer, so it might be a little surprising if you watched my introductory video where I said I don't have a gold subscription anymore on why I would pick this up. Originally, before I got the email that said, hey, get your gold subscription and we'll give you some games, and you can get 33% off it. But when I picked this up, I was thinking, yeah, Gears of War 3, I'm going to want to play that on multiplayer, because I played the heck out of Gears of War 2 multiplayer. So I was going to just hold off and play this around that same period of time. Bioshock, for me, because I started with the first one, is also a very first-person, story-driven game. So there's also the question of, am I even going to play multiplayer? So we'll see what happens. This one, I didn't pick this up when it came out, because I heard it was basically babysitting. A lot of hand-holding, which I don't like games like that. I really don't. Sadly, it's one of the reasons I don't pick up Ico, even though I keep hearing really great things about it. Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep, I played that, and there's parts where you gotta protect, whoever character. I think they're all princesses. No, there's a mouse too. Anyways, you gotta protect characters, and I don't want to waste my time with that, because the designers always seem to make them just the stupidest characters, and it's like, no, come on, let's, just keep walking. You don't have to stop and just. I understand for Bioshock 2 you have to do that, but I don't know. Just babysitting hand-holding missions are ridiculous. There's certainly people who like them, and it adds a certain level of suspense, or gets the adrenaline pumping, because oh my god, I gotta protect her, and all these things are flying at her, and I don't know. So we'll see what happens. Bioshock Infinite, I kind of touched on. I'm hoping will be more like the original Bioshock versus this. Seemingly, you've got a another character, a female character, so hopefully she, and it seems like she can kick some butt, but hopefully it's not a hand-holding game like this supposedly is. But hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully when I put this in, which will be probably in a couple games, although honestly probably in a couple months, hopefully, you know, all the reviews are wrong and this turns out to be a really great game. So there it is. There's my Xbox 360 video game collection, physical copies only, that I still own. I hope you enjoyed. 4 parts, you know, 4 parts for 16 games. Looks like about average of 12, 13 minutes a piece, which is a little high, but there it is, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll probably have some other video game videos for the other systems that I have. I think I've got 2 or 3 left, so if you have any suggestions, please leave a comment, and thanks.